is an experienced technical architect and SQL database administrator with a demonstrated history of working in diverse verticals like finance, healthcare, and IT. Currently, he is working as a CEO, cybersecurity advisor, security architect at Rainbow Secure, and provides technical leadership for the family of developer APIs and Office solutions that solves login, data security, and privacy pain. Please welcome Dhaval Shah, our esteemed guest speaker.
Thank you, Sasi, for the nice introduction, and welcome everyone to the Servo Secure Cyber Symposium. We are already into the fourth week where we are gonna have amazing talks and networking. We had a great 3 weeks so far. Without taking much time today, I will start delving into the security challenges, the issues that we have with cloud computing, and I will highlight how we can also mitigate them. So we should first know the challenges and then we can work on the solutions. Let me share my deck. Let me know once you guys can see it.
Yes, it is visible.
Here. So what is cloud computing and why we should worry about the security issues? The main reason for the security challenges in the cloud is that there is a lack of proper understanding and the responsibility between the providers, customers, and the solution deployers. So here you see that we are having a different hierarchy and different ways the security challenges come to us. But if we know our responsibility, then we can tackle it in a better way. So in other words, cloud computing actually presenting you a unique opportunity, but also unique security challenges. In cloud, data, for example, is stored with a third-party provider and accessed over the internet. This means visibility and control over that data is limited. It also raises a question of how it can be properly secured, because once you hand over, once you have nothing on premise, you are into the cloud, you have to understand, you have to gain visibility into who is handling your data, how it is controlled. It is everyone's responsibility to understand the security issues, whether you are on the admin side, whether you are on the SaaS provider side. So cloud providers actually treat security issues and risk as a shared responsibility. In this model, the cloud service provider covers security of the cloud itself, and the customer covers the security of what they put in. So your host, your cloud provider, will try to guard the instance that they gave you. But you, as a product developer, as a application person, you have to make sure the rights and access you give, right, they are fine-tuned and limited, essential. So in every cloud service, from software as a service like Microsoft Office 365 to infrastructure as a service like Amazon Web Services and Azure, the cloud customer is always responsible for protecting the data. Now, most cloud computing security risks are related to cloud data security, and whether it's lack of visibility to that, or it's even related to inability to control data or the theft of data. Because when you can't see, right, who has access to what and on what ports, then those security issues are coming back to haunt you. Now let's talk about the SaaS cloud security issues. SaaS cloud security issues are naturally centered around data and access, because most SaaS security responsibility models leave those two as the sole responsibility for SaaS customers. It is every organization's responsibility to understand what data they put in the cloud, who can access it, and what level of protection they have applied. So essentially, you can say that when you provision the users, you have to be careful what role and what access you give to them. Because if you loosely give access to the sensitive data, then it's much challenging down the road when some breach happens or something, somebody wrongly updates your data even. Then even if it is not security issue, it is an issue for your digital project. And also, I would like to add here that it again ties up to the compliance regulations. In the compliance world, if you are a SaaS provider, you are responsible for controlling the security and privacy of the data that you are holding. So please remember that whether you are in fintech, healthcare, or any other space, if you are a SaaS provider, the data that your application captures and stores in the cloud is your responsibility to control the access and the encryption. Just make the data visible to the user who need to work on that data fragment. Just don't make it widely available to all the users all the time. If you need, you can maybe mask the data. You can also encrypt the data before sharing. So data masking and data encryption goes hand in hand when you talk about the security governance and compliance for the SaaS cloud. Now, here we should also consider that SaaS companies are mostly development focused, where they have prime focus to develop the products and solutions. So even though they want to secure their hosting, secure their deployment, sometimes the lack of staff with the necessary security skills, that's hampering their adherence of the security governance rules. So we have to actually, as InfoSec people, guide the SaaS team, whether we are external security partner or we are internal to the company. We have to guide the SaaS leadership with against advanced threats and attacks that might be targeting the SaaS websites or SaaS business applications. So if you're a SaaS provider and you don't have resources to assess the security risk that your startup may be facing, then you are in great trouble, because on one side hackers are going to haunt you, on the other side regulatory issues, regulatory compliance, you will be failing. So it's necessary that you can take advantage of external security partners, external compliance partners, and get necessary guidance and get necessary evaluation of your code base, your application architecture, and your data structure. Because the way you store the data, the way you make your data available to everyone, that's important. Same way, the APIs that you use in your applications, the accessibility, the access that you provide to the third party to access your backend, that is also a very important issue here. It's one thing to give access for the sake of reading it, but if you make a mistake and give access at a higher level, then that access may even disrupt your SaaS platform itself through some wrong update. And other thing, coming back to the threats facing your SaaS business, there are many such new variants of ransomware like Code Ghost and GoldenEye ransomware that emphasize that attackers recognize the value of software and cloud providers. So what they do, they not only are now trying to take your data, but they may also blackmail you against you. That they may blackmail you that you are a startup or you are a SaaS provider, and they will expose your customers' data. So this is another threat. Even though you might have good backups, but the threat of exposing your customers' data to the world may bring an end to your venture. So you have to be careful, very careful, when you are on limited resources, when you are a startup or a SaaS cloud provider. Everyone is targeting you once you grow. Now, what is IaaS? IaaS is infrastructure as a service, and that model is very good. But you will also find that there are security issues if you don't properly configure or follow the best practices. So protecting data is very critical in IaaS. As a customer, responsibility extend to applications, network traffic, operating systems, and additional threats are introduced. So organizations to consider the recent evolution in attacks that extend beyond data as a center of the IaaS risk. Malicious actors may conduct a complete hostile takeover of your computing environment. Like, they may not immediately turn it off, but they may introduce their own workload. Like, you must have heard that, hackers are capturing the IoT devices, they're capturing the, computing power of your data centers. So they may mine cryptocurrency and, who knows what else they may use your resources for. So if you don't have complete control over the cloud environment, if you don't have complete control over the infrastructure, or if you have but have less visibility into it, then it's in trouble. So with the IaaS, the way it goes is that your attack vector might spread horizontally within your organization. Like, a hacker may come in via weakly secured VM, and it may then gain the admin credentials, and it may try to log into other servers that you have. So lack of consistent security controls in the multi-cloud and on-premise environment is actually causing opening for a hacker to target you. So you should always secure your cloud credentials, your access to the important environments through a multi-tier security framework like Rainbow Secure. You can also secure your environments through, say, rather than relying on a single individual, you should actually have a admin team who looks after the different aspects of the security in cloud. So that's how, even if somebody misses some alerting, there will be always a backup person who would look after it. Many times alerts do get raised, but you are lacking the resources to act on the alerting. Now about the private cloud security issues. In the private cloud, actually, you are having a complete control of the infrastructure, and now here you have some different set of issues. First of all, now your responsibility increases because you are having your workloads and the network, the infrastructure is now more tightly governed by your organization. So your responsibility increases. In terms of risk management, your responsibility to secure the private cloud-based applications is much more. Now let's see what are the security issues here. Lack of consistent security controls spanning over traditional server and virtualized environment. That's the one. The other one again, that you need more time and more it's complex to support this infrastructure, because now you are also handling the infrastructure side, the computing resources and the applications. Again, staffing problems, and also if you don't have proper tools to analyze the threats, mitigate the threats, then that will result in advanced threat attacks. So organizations should always consider to have a evaluation of the infrastructure, get third-party assessments, and try to find out what's the best for the organization. Just because there's some buzzword or there's some like somebody has done so, but you should evaluate any technology, any deployment model based on what your organization is doing, how it is serving the business, how the technology fits you, that cloud model fits your business. Try to go for simplification of the security management. Don't make it complex. So actually, you should unify your public and private cloud platform across physical, virtual, and hybrid environment, so that you have a single pane of view. Now, we saw that these are all the challenges, but how can you mitigate it? The main focus is on the DevOps and DevSecOps. You should improvise those processes. You should make sure that all your application changes and application development incorporates the best security practices at every step. Don't make it an afterthought. Hey, I'm gonna let me first develop my application and then I will thought about security later. No, it will be too much changes in your code and you may have some adverse impact on your software. So better you target the security of logins and data when you develop the application. So DevSecOps is very important these days. Also, is to try to automate the application deployment so that at least one part of your repetitive process gets taken out of the way. You should more focus on having the unified security, decentralized management across all services and providers. Because now you have got data security, you have got login security to take care of, API security to take care of, and platform security. So finally, the trade-off should be made only when you think that what I have on my plate is I cannot do everything at once. Then you should make a priority. You should the priority should be that you should have first better visibility of your security pane, and not just trying to gain more control for your admins. You should ask for more better visibility for your admins from the cloud providers. With this, I would end my presentation, and myself, Dhaval, and Nihal would be available for answering your questions, any help you need to decide on your cloud model. Also, if you need any help in evaluating your applications, evaluating your cloud infrastructure, we are always here to help fellow founders, startups, and businesses. Thank you very much.
Dhaval sir, I have a question.
Yes.
So, how is security managed in a hybrid cloud?
So in a hybrid cloud, the security management is still a prime focus. You have to have your InfoSec resources look into the on-premise hosted logs and analytics, and at the same time, the data that is being shared with the cloud platform, right? You have to see what data is staying local, what data is staying in the cloud, and whatever the data, whether it's staying in the local or cloud, also evaluate who has access to, which applications can read into, which APIs can read into, and is the data that's there, is do you really need to show all the data, or you can have a partially masked data. For example, social security numbers and say Aadhaar card numbers, and you don't need to show all the digits to the users. Maybe last 4 digit or 3 digit based on the company policy or need, you can show. That's fine. Sometimes even hide part of the date of birth information. So based on the business need of the user, you should make decisions on displaying those data. So that's how you can tackle the security, whether it's in hybrid cloud or in a public cloud.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Anyone else?
So, I have one more question. If a developer is, if he's a naive developer and he doesn't know, like, the availability zone is available in Mumbai, in India. And the second, for redundancy purposes, he needs to put the data at some other location. So, how is he going to choose the location? Because according to compliance, you can keep your data only in your country. So, can he put the data in Singapore, data
Now
set?
that's the policy of the that's the deployment policy, the data compliance, local hosting rules, and also your DR. Now you have to work with local government rules, because if you are having the data, say for example, many countries do insist, say, hey, we need to have data available, locally within our country, our customers' data, right? Then companies should look after the different geographical zones within a country to make sure that the data still compliance with the hosting rules, but you still have redundancy available in case of failure. For example, in US, we have got a couple of zones in the East Coast and West Coast, Central. So we have 7 to 8 different hosting zones available. So if one fails, you can still switch over instantly to the other zone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's check messages if anybody Yeah, we'll always be available at Rainbow Secure. We are always, your security partner, whether you are a founder, startup, SaaS, service delivery, or enterprise business. Rainbow Secure, with its innovative solutions and services, we will always be with you to help with all your challenges in the cloud.
Great presentation, Dhaval. Always, as always, you share something special, and we always learn a new thing from you. And thank you to summarize this cloud issue, also their best practices.